Hi everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look at two beautiful, relatively inexpensive paper planners. So stay with me. Well, hi everyone. This is Crystal from A Crystal Clear Life, where we focus on planning, organizing, and living a more simplified life. And today, I want to share with you two paper planners. Now, I know you guys are going to say, but Crystal, you are a digital planner. That is correct. But my daughter brought these two planners home the other day and asked me what I thought, and she's needing a planner for work. And I thought, well, they're both great planners. Do you mind if I do a review before you decide which one you're going to use for work and to take it away from me? So she said, no, that would be great. They both have good features, and let's just take a look at each one and figure out which one might be best to use. You might be somebody who does some digital planning, but you also want to do some paper planning. Maybe you have a family that you're trying to lay out paper planning for. Maybe you're somebody who keeps a journal for work that might be digital and a journal for home that might be paper. Whatever you decide to do, I think some of these have some interesting layouts, and I want to take a look at them. Okay? All right, so let's move our pens out of the way. Let's move our kitty cat out of the way, and we will get started. First of all, I want to compare sizes. As you can see right off, the Laura Ashley black and white and gray cover that's here on the front is a little bit smaller. It says that it is 8 by 10 inches, and it is a soft but hard cover, if that makes any sense. So it's very thick, but you can see the size difference. And then this Cambridge work style agenda is a little bit bigger, but it is not completely 8.5 by 11. I brought out a sheet of 8.5 by 11 so that we could compare. And I think the cover might be 8.5 by 11, but the inside pages are just a little bit smaller. Okay? All right. I do not see the actual dimensions on here. But we'll take a look inside here in just a minute. So there you have a comparison of both of the calendars together. If you look at this hardbacked calendar, it is a little bit thicker because it is actually an 18-month calendar, whereas the thinner one is simply a 12-month, but it's on the academic calendar year. So it goes from July of 2025 to June of 2026. Okay, the Laura Ashley planner is an 18-month, so it goes from July of 2025 to December of 2026. Okay, all right, so let's start with the Laura Ashley. And this particular planner came from Marshall's, and I think it was around $8, which I have to say, yes, Marshall's, $8, which I have to say for a planner of this quality for that cheap, I think that's pretty great. So this is a Laura Ashley 18-month weekly planner, July 2025 to December 2026. It includes weekly pages, monthly calendars, to-do list, guided weekly prompts, and it is 8.5 by 11. And again, like I said, it is kind of a hard cardboard cover, but it's not perfectly hard, and it is a bound book, as you see here, and it does have one ribbon tie. Okay, when you open it up on the inside, you see this beautiful end paper with the pink and white stripes. And turning the page, we get to our 2025-26 planner. This planner belongs to and a place for you to put your name. Okay, and then the next page has a year at a glance for 2 years in a row. So this is all of 2025 and 2026. And then we go right into the month of July for 2025. Now, the one thing that I do like is it has the small August and September. So it's not the month before and the month after, it's the upcoming month. So you have the month of July and then August and September. Okay. This calendar has a Sunday start and goes across, and each monthly box is about the same size, which is very nice. And you'll notice in here that it is very, very neutral. This is not quite black, but it is a very nice like charcoal gray, which I think is very pretty. Would be able to customize very easily if you're somebody who likes to add your own color, your own stickers, that kind of thing. On the side of each monthly is a section for notes and a list for to-dos for the month, okay? And certainly you could break that down into, you know, my household to-dos, my work to-dos, my garden to-dos, that kind of thing, okay? All right, so that's the monthly. And then you see as I turn the page, the next month is August, and all of the months are stacked here together. So as we go along, there's October, November, December, and they're all laid out exactly the same until we get to June. And then when I turn June, you have July of 2026, August, and remember, this one goes all the way to December. So there's December 2026. And when I turn the page there, now we start with July 2025, and this is the first week of July, okay? So what I would do is I would pull this ribbon and put it at my weekly like that so I could find that. Now, in my opinion, it would have been nice to have two ribbon markers so that you could mark your month back here. You could have one here for July, and then you could have another one here for the weekly. But I will tell you, it's not that hard to add another ribbon down in here, little glue, and stick it right down in there, and you could do that. That would be fine. Or you may be somebody that likes those cute little paper clips, and maybe you want to mark your monthly with that, okay? Also notice this book has no tabs, so finding each month is not that easy, but they're very easy to flip through, okay? All right, so taking a quick look at our weekly page here, we have the week broken down. Now this is interesting. Your monthly calendars have a Sunday start, but your weekly calendars have a Monday start. If you're somebody who's using this for work, this might be a great idea because you're working Monday through Friday, and then you have a split weekend down here. So it's the same amount as the regular day. It's just divided in half for Saturday and Sunday. If you are somebody who works on those days, that might not be the best for you. Okay, it does also have the holidays listed. So here is Canada Day in Canada, Independence Day in the United States, that kind of thing. And again, it's very neutral. Moving over to the right-hand page, we have a section up here for notes and quite a few pages for notes, which I do like. And then next to that, there's a whole nother column for to-dos, which is very nice. Then there is a reminder, and this might be a place for you to remember, you know, particular birthdays or meetings that you have. Maybe it's a place where you want to put your top priorities for, you know, what you need to get done. Any of those things that are important, kind of must-do reminders. Then down here at the bottom, it says goal of the week, and it's just a blank space there for you to write in what your goal might be, okay? And then down here, it has the current month of July and the very next month of August. Okay, so that's what your weekly spread looks like. And as we turn the page, it goes to the next week in July, and I will go forward and show you how they transition between the months. So here we have July 27th, and then it just rolls right into August the 1st right here. Still says July at the top. And then as you turn the page to August, you see that it carries on 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Okay? So there's not a real transition in the pages. The weeks just continue one after the other. All right? So that's what the weeks look like. And they go through, like I said, the entire month, February, March, all the way down to October, November, December. So let's get to the end of this book. And here we are in December 26th, 27th. And then we have our last week in December that starts January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then when I turn that page, we have some notes pages back here in the way back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 notes pages, okay? So not one for every month of a year and not one for every 18 months that this calendar makes up, but 11 is a good number of notes pages. And then we have another end page here at the end with the little Laura Ashley insignia there, and then it closes like that, okay? Again, $7.99 at Marshalls. And you can see when it's just laying here flat open on my desk, it lays relatively flat. I think that's pretty nice. Even when you're up here in the months section, you know, it still lays relatively flat, and I think that's great, okay? Now, because my daughter has not decided which of these books she's going to do, she asked me not to write in them, which I understand, but I did think we could do a pen test on a piece of paper. So that 8.5 by 11 paper that I got, I brought out some of my markers here, and these are the Crayola Super Tip markers. So they are quite thick. And I just wrote pen test. Can you read this? I love planners. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to stick that behind. So there's January, here's February. Stick that in there and let's see if you can see it. I'll pull it down. Okay, and you can see if I push and look really, really hard, I can see the word pen test. The lighter colors are a little bit lighter. So that's really not too bad considering how inexpensive this is. I also brought over a pack of stickers from the Happy Planner, and I just want to stick a page of them in there. Oh, let's do this one because it has some dark and it has some light. Okay, so again, let's see if I lay this in there and then close it. You can see there the dark sticker kind of shows through a little bit. You can't read what's on the sticker, but you can certainly see the shadow from that. But then many of these other light stickers, you can't even hardly tell that they're there, okay? So the paper quality, I think, would be good enough to use, but it is certainly not as exceptional as some of the very, very, very expensive planners that are also much, much thicker, okay? So that's the Laura Ashley. I love the size of this. I think it would fit in a bag very well to take it back and forth to work. I love the hard cover on here. I think that would be great. I'm not so sure about the Sunday start and then the Monday start. That might be a little confusing, but I think that the weekly pages are laid out nicely. I'm not sure how I would feel about all of my week stuff being over here since I am right-handed. I don't know, but anyway, I just wanted to share with you some of my thoughts about this planner. I like the way that it lays flat. I wish it had 2 ribbons, but I think it has a good amount of space to work with. Okay? All right, so that's the Laura Ashley planner. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Cambridge Work Style, and it's an agenda, and it's a weekly and a monthly. And again, it is 1 year, so July of 2025 to June of 2026. And then it says there's a focus, take control of your priorities. It gives you daily priorities, notes and task list, and then personal reminders. So let's look inside to see more, just like it says right there. This one came from Target, and I think it was under $15, I believe, is what my daughter said. If I can get the right price, I'll put it up on the screen for you, okay? So right away, you can see the cover of this is a very thick and very rigid plastic, which I like, and it has a tan color with gold accents on it, which pick up very nicely on this gold spiral ring that's on here. And the spiral actually looks really nice and sturdy. I kind of like that. The corners are rounded, so it's not going to poke you, you know, when you're using it, putting it in and out of your bag and that kind of thing. Okay? All right. When I open it up, You can see here that this spiral allows your book to lay perfectly flat. And the first thing that I see is this little pocket, which I think is great. And if you were using this for work, I could see lots of, papers and memos and things going in there. I did want to test to see if this sheet of 8.5 by 11 would fit in that pocket, and it does not. It is too small. Okay, so that's kind of a bummer, but certainly if I folded it in half, I could stick it in there. Okay. All right. Behind this little pocket, which has a pocket on both sides, front and back, okay, and that's very secure in there, they do give us a page full of stickers, okay? And these stickers say things like reminder, follow up, deadline, don't forget. Then there are some exclamation points, some check marks, and some celebratory little trumpets with confetti coming out the end. Then there are some arrows that you can write in and some boxes that you can write in. Then there are vacation stickers, meeting stickers, a bunch of meeting stickers, appointments, and priority down here at the bottom. Okay? All right, so that's the sticker page. The cover page says, Work Style by Cambridge, your life, your work, your style. Focus, take control of your priorities. Help keep your priorities front and center with this focus agenda, which provides open areas for planning and clarifying and reminders to take care of you. Stay task-driven and in control of your schedule and goals so that you can do it all well. Okay? And then there's another line there. If you wanted to put your name in your planner, I suppose you could do that there. Then this is very much a thicker, like cardstock, but it is very waxy, like almost, I'm not sure how well it would take pen, but it's a very nice 3-year reference. So 2025, 26, and 27, those little mini calendars there. And then if you look over here on this page, you see a whole list of holidays. It looks like for Canada, Mexico, and the United States. So the entire, continent of North America looks like they are included here, which is very nice. Okay. And then this agenda does have tabs. So you see a tab for each of the months going down the side here, all the way to June of next year. And when we turn that tab, you go right into the monthly calendar. So the tab takes you right to that monthly page, which I know lots of you like out there in the planner community. And on our monthly page, it says the month number, which is 07, and then July, and then number 2025. That's the year number. That's kind of a theme that they have going with this calendar. And again, it is very neutral. It is shades of gray, which is very nice. The one thing that I do like about this monthly calendar is I like this little section right here. So they've added a whole nother column to this monthly calendar. So it breaks down evenly, 4 columns on one page, 4 columns on the next. They have a section that says My Week. And then it gives you a place to write down things that you might want to focus on during that particular week. Maybe, you're trying to break a project down that may be due here at the end of the month. And so you want to break that here and say, these are the parts that I need to focus on this week, and then the following week, and then the next week, and so on, until you get to the week that it's due, okay? You might have a birthday in here. Let's say somebody's birthday is here, and you want to mark, my week is celebrating so-and-so's birthday, okay? So I like that very much. Maybe you want to write down what zone you're working in your housekeeping, okay? And so that you can say, well, this is zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, and zone 5. And list any priorities that you might want to get done there, okay? Maybe it's a workout plan. I don't know. This looks like it has a lot of potential to me. I like this part, okay? Also, their monthly calendar then is a Sunday start. They do list the holidays on here. So there is Canada Day in Canada, Independence Day, the Ashura begins at sundown, the full moons are listed, and so on and so on. Okay? All right, so that's the monthly page, and then right behind the monthly page, it starts with the weekly page. So right here we have the very first week, the end of June through July 6th, and I like the way they have those dates there. And they start a Monday start here. Again, so you have a Sunday start on your monthly calendar, but a Monday start here. Again, if you're working, this is going to be your priority anyway, is this start. But what is different about this one is Saturday and Sunday have their own section down here, so that you have room to plan your weekends as well, okay? And in addition to giving you all of this horizontal space for each day, there's also a little box over here that says priority. So you could write down the main priority or the top 3 priorities for that particular day, okay? I like that as well. And it is lightly gray shaded so that it kind of stands out from the rest of the events that you have. Okay. Then on the right-hand side, again, weekly layout is on the left-hand side, but then on the right-hand side, you have some kind of open-ended sections, okay? So there's a section here that has a place for you to put your own title at the top. And depending on what you might need for that particular week, maybe this is stuff that needs to be done for school, or maybe this is work and this is home. I don't know how you might use it, but I can think in lots and lots and lots of different ways that I might use that, okay? So you have a section up here at the top, and then the second half of the page is another section for notes or lists or priorities or whatever you would like to do. And then there is a section here that says tasks, and they have little circles so that you can use those as little check boxes and check them off as they are done. Okay? Then at the bottom of the page here, there's a little section that says care, connect, and focus. Now at first, when I first looked at this planner, I was not sure what they meant by these little boxes. As I got through the planner, I discovered what these are for, so let me show you that. I'm going to jump all the way here in the back after June, and you see there's another little tab up there that says focus. Can you guys see that? Focus. When I turn the focus tab, it says monthly goals for July. And then it says care, your health and wellness, and then it gives you 4 little open circles or check boxes that you can use, okay? And then it says connect, people and relationships, and again, those 4 little dots. And then focus, priorities and time management. And again, those 4 little dots, okay? So I can see this being used in lots of different ways. Maybe you're somebody who's really trying to work on your self-care and you want to give yourself a special reward for each week of the month. So maybe there are 4 things there and you want to write down something that, if you accomplish things in week 1, you're going to do this, activity as self-care. Maybe you're somebody who really is trying to work on daily self-care and you want to include these 4 things to do every day. Maybe you have a new skin routine regimen that you want to do, and you're trying to exercise. So you want to take your 20-minute walk, and you want to get enough water, and those kinds of things that you're doing for self-care. So maybe you want to write those there, as something that you want to do every day of the week, okay? And then connect with people and relationships. For example, in my life, I know that the second week of every month is when I meet with my ladies and we do a game day. And the 4th week of every month is when I meet with the godparents and we do a game night with them. So that leaves the 1st week and the 3rd week open for me to plan activities with other friends or family members, making it intentional to reach out to other people and to connect with them. Okay? And then again, focus. Again, maybe you want to pick one for each week, or maybe you have different areas in your life that you want to focus on. So maybe there's something for your financial wellness that you want to work on, something for your health, something for your home environment, that kind of thing. And then something for, I don't know, maybe you have something coming up like travel or something like that that you need to focus on. Okay? So they give you a space back here in the back to write out what your monthly goals are, okay? And then as you're planning your weeks, you can take this stuff from July, go back up here to July, to your 1st week. And then you can record it here. What items do I want to do for self-care? Or if you're trying to do all 4 of those items, you could write all 4 of them and make yourself a little Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of habit tracker in here if you wanted to. Same for Connect. You could say what your activity is. Maybe it's game night with the family, and you could list what game you're going to play and do a little bit of planning here about what the menu might be and that kind of thing. Okay. And again, for your focus, a place for you to do a little bit more planning and breaking down that activity that you want to do for your focus, and putting it in that space right there. Okay. And then you can refer back to this focus tab back here and record how well you did. I think that's great. I think that's a really good way to organize things. Okay. All right. So then at the end of that week, you turn the page and it's exactly the same. A week on 2 pages, weekly layout on the left, notes, tasks, and care, connect, and focus. And it goes through until you get to the last week of July, which leads into August. And then you have your August tab, which takes you to your monthly. And then when you turn your first week in August, you are then starting at August the 4th. Okay? All right. Now there's another tab back here once you get through all of the focus items, and that's simply a section for notes. Okay? And the notes section here is just blank pages. They don't say notes. They don't say anything. You get 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And this back page again is like that front page 5 if you count the one on the back. It's kind of thick and it feels a little waxy, like maybe a dry erase marker or something would work there. You might even could use that as some kind of sticky note dashboard or something like that if you wanted to. Okay, and then we are back to the back cover. Now let's quickly jump in just like we did with the other one, and let's do a pen test with our little handy dandy piece of paper here. Remember, it says pen test. Can you read this? I love planners. And I'm just going to stick it in the page there and let you see. In my perspective, again, I can see pen test. I can read that pretty clearly, ghosting through. And then maybe I can make out the pink one, but the gray one I do not hardly see at all. Okay. And then let's check these stickers. Let's use that same page just to be fair. So we'll stick that in there. And again, you can see that really, really black circle and the darker one up above it. But most of the others you can't really see, and you definitely cannot read any of them. Okay, so you could see these two pretty much, but not this one, surprisingly. Okay? All right. Well, I think for under $20, this is a very nice planner. I like the goal focus in it. I think that's really nice. I like the way the weeklies are laid out. I like how versatile these different boxes could be. I like having the task list here kind of on the side, like, okay, I just need to check off what I got to get done this week. I could also see adding over here, you have your priority box. I could also see putting another little box down here where you could write dinner. So you could write in here, we're having chicken tacos, or we're having beef bourguignon, or we're having salad and chicken, that kind of thing. You could put your meals in here if you wanted to. You also could take one of these boxes down here and do some meal planning. You could break this up into other sections if you wanted to. So I see lots and lots of potential here. I like the way that Saturday and Sunday each have their own space down here, and they didn't waste a lot of space at the top with a big wide margin in there. I like that it's very neutral and you could add your own color and your own personality to it. I think all of that is great. I like the stickers. I like the pocket. I like the coil. It looks nice and sturdy. The one thing that I did notice, even after she brought this home, is there are a couple of marks on here where like the texture of the outside of this cover might look like it would get a little scratched. I actually like the almost eggshell of the inside of the cover much better. I wish this were on the outside as opposed to this smooth, but you can't have everything, right? Especially for $15 or however much this one was. Okay. All right. So I like this one and I like this one. And if you are somebody who does the academic year, meaning you start in July and you go forward either to the following July or to the following December, I think either one of these would be a really good agenda for somebody who is working or somebody who has, lots of things to keep track of. I'm not sure they would be really good school agendas for students. I'm not sure there's enough space for that, although this one is pretty versatile. So, maybe a college student would be able to use either one of these, but certainly not, a younger student. Okay. All right, well, let me know what you think in the comments. Drop me a comment. Which one would you vote for? The Cambridge or the Laura Ashley? I don't know which one my daughter's going to pick, but hopefully whichever one she picks, she will be very happy with. She has a lot of things to keep track of at work, and I am sure that one of these two will help her out with that. Okay, well, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for taking a look at these beautiful planners with me. And if you have any planners that you think, oh, I'd like you to take a look at that and let me know what you think, go ahead and leave me a comment and I'll give it a whirl. Even if it's a digital planner or a hard paperback planner, any of those things work for me. Okay, well, I better get these back up to my daughter's desk before she notices they are missing. And I want to say thanks for joining me today. I really do appreciate you guys. And here's hoping that you can live a more simplified and organized life through better planning. I use whatever planner I can get my hands on these days. Until next time. Okay, bye.